Hello everyone, I'm Kara Minowie. This is Shell Point Today for Tuesday, April 29th. On today's show, history professor Adrian Kerr goes behind the headlines of modern Pakistan and Afghanistan. We'll also visit our state-of-the-art rehabilitation center and hear testimonials from residents who have benefited from its services. But first, tonight's the big night, our Route 66 variety show, as residents and employees portray songs, skits, and more, celebrating the open road. The show is tonight at 7:15 in the church auditorium, and all are welcome. Here's one last preview.
Yep, there's nothing like getting your car out onto the open road and heading out west, getting your kicks on Route 66. Look, there's an old Texaco station. And there's a great driving restaurant over there. I've got some classic tunes on the radio. Yeah, this is going to be the best road trip ever. Okay guys, this is totally fake. We're not really fooling anybody. But you know what? You don't actually have to go out west to enjoy Route 66. Just think of the classic songs, the skits, the poems about road trips, mom and pop burger stands, and your favorite class of cars. That's exactly what we're looking for at the Route 66 Variety Show, coming on April 29th. The Route 66 Variety Show, and we'll see you out on the road. Woohoo!
We love celebrating car culture here at Shell Point, but of course we want everyone to enjoy driving as safely as possible. Did you know that simply adjusting your seats, mirrors, and other parts of your car can make you measurably safer and more comfortable while you drive? You can find out how at CarFit, a special Academy event developed by AAA and AARP. At CarFit, you can pull up your car to the driveway of the village church, and a trained technician will examine it and recommend adjustments or devices that will make your driving experience better. There's no driving test or sales going on, just tried and true recommendations utilizing decades of experience. Sign up for CarFit happening next Tuesday, May 6th. To reserve a time, call the Island Service Desk at 454-2282 or the Woodland Service Desk at 454-2054. That's not the only big Academy event happening next Tuesday. Adrian Kerr is returning to Shell Point with a new presentation on Pakistan and Afghanistan. This spring, he discussed the histories of these two fascinating countries, and now he will present part 3 of the series, focusing on the current issues, especially after 9/11. Sign up for part 3 of Pakistan and Afghanistan, happening next Tuesday, May 6th at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Terry Koloth has more.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Koloth and I'm here with Professor Adrian Kerr. We're speaking about a course he's doing in the Academy on Pakistan and Afghanistan. Thank you for joining me, Adrian.
Thank you, Terry. It's always a pleasure.
I've been waiting for this course. I know you've been back and you've gotten some more information and you're ready to start our summer semester with the most current information.
Most of us only know of Afghanistan because of the involvement of the Soviets in the last 20 years or so, and our own involvement in Afghanistan. But Afghanistan has a tremendous history. It goes back to Alexander the Great's time, for instance. He came through Afghanistan. Then there were periods where Afghanistan was a dominant empire in its own. Not many people realize that it grew to dominate southern Asia. It dominated parts of Persia. It spread into Pakistan today, and even at one time it invaded northern India. And it's through Afghanistan that we have the Mughal Empire, which is wrongly named, of course, but it's the area which it's the culture that led to such wonderful buildings as Taj Mahal, which is a fusion of Indian culture with Afghan and Persian culture. So although we see it as 3 separate countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, it's really only in recent years, since 1947, when India and and Pakistan were separated, and Afghanistan was separated, that we see them as three separate countries.
That's when Afghanistan was separated also?
Well, Afghanistan was given its notional independence by the British before that time, before the 40s. But until the one time when it was ruled by Britain, of course, it's just one area. Right. And there's a lot of difficulty in trying to keep Afghanistan under control, as the British would say, because Afghanistan itself is a terribly, terribly poor country. Its only wealth is poppy and opium. But it was very important strategically because it was the buffer state between the British, India and Pakistan in the south, and the expansion of Russia, who wanted to keep moving south and take over some of the British colonial area. And so Afghanistan became the buffer state, hence its importance for Britain, hence the two wars that Britain fought to control Afghanistan, unsuccessfui, I should say, because it was called the Great Game, as the Victorian politicians were mapping out different strategies throughout the world, from China to India to the West. This poor country, Afghanistan, happened to be in the middle of two great powers and suffered. But of course, we now know that it was successful. It's thrown off all of its conquerors from the very, very earliest days, and may even resort to being an independent fundamentalist regime in the next few years. So Afghanistan has a repetitive history, which unfortunately many of us have not totally thought through when we got involved.
And the names, Alexander the Great, the Kushan Empire, the barbarians, they're still, they still can strike terror. Just the might of them and the history.
Yes, Afghanistan and northern India were on the Silk trade. The Silk routes between China and Western Europe passed through these Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, as we call them today, but of course they weren't called that. They were tribal areas between China and Turkey, and the caravans would pass east and west, moving goods from China to Europe, and they would pass through nearby Afghanistan, and Afghanistan became a very wealthy, important country in its own right. And as you said, the Kushans expanded down into and took over India, northern India, and they were great Buddhists. They'd been converted to Buddhism, and the notorious Taliban activities in the first part of this century, they destroyed these huge 80-foot high statues of Buddha in the north of Afghanistan, and that was one of the most serious attacks on the Buddhist culture. And the good news is, we'll talk about it in the talks, that they are now collected the pieces from the dynamiting, and they're now about to start rebuilding one of the two great statues.
That will leave us waiting with bated breath for May 6th when we hear about current Pakistan and Afghanistan.
Looking forward to it, Terry.
Adrian Kerr's presentation on modern-day Pakistan and Afghanistan happens next Tuesday, May 6th. Then, after that, he begins a new series on the religious figure of Buddha. How much do we know about this person behind the world's third largest religion? Find out by signing up for Adrian Kerr's The Story of Buddha on May 13th and 20th in the Grand Cypress Room. Well, folks, we're getting near the end of the month, and with the wonderfully pleasant weather, now is the perfect time to take a cruise on the Suzy Q. Whether you're entertaining friends and family or just enjoying a lunchtime getaway, it's the best $5 you'll spend at Shell Point. Here are the destinations the Suzy Q will be visiting in May. On Mondays, the Suzy Q departs at 10 a.m. for lunch at the Matanzas Inn on Fort Myers Beach. On Tuesdays at 11, the boat makes the short trip across the Caloosahatchee and through the freshwater locks to Rum Runners in Cape Coral. On Thursdays, it's a bit more adventurous trip to Pine Island to Woody's Waterfront Restaurant. And on Fridays, several different options are available, from the Yacht Basin at downtown Fort Myers to the Green Flash on Captiva. Also, Marker 92 in Cape Coral and the Lighthouse Restaurant just down the street from Shell Point. To reserve a seat on the Suzy Q, just call the volunteer greeter desk at 454-2136. Of course, you can also charter the Suzy Q for your own private functions, court parties, and other excursions. To rent out the Suzy Q, call Melody Desolé at 454-2290. Now, coming up this Friday, we've got a unique Health Connection event about our rehabilitation center. It's an amazing facility that we hope you never need to use, but when we do, we're glad it's there. This Friday, you can hear residents tell their own personal stories of how rehabilitation at the Larson Pavilion helped them regain their independence. This free forum happens Friday at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Mary Franklin talked to a few of our panelists.
I'm Mary Franklin with an upcoming Health Connection, which actually came out of a LifeQuest Advisory Board meeting. I had one of those aha moments when I heard the story of these three wonderful residents here at Shell Point. The next program coming up is the benefits of rehabilitation at the Larson Pavilion, and it happens on Friday, May 2nd, and you want to be in the Grand Cypress Room at 10 a.m. to hear their wonderful stories, and joining them will be Sherry Brown, and Sherry is the Director of Long-Term Care in the Pavilion, and she will be covering some of the business aspects of the Pavilion administratively with insurance and so forth. But today, I have these three lovely ladies here. Right here we have Emily Kletzien, Dot Beard, and Bobbi Brown. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, in our LifeQuest Advisory Board, we were talking about the Larson Pavilion, and the three of you shared such wonderful testimonies about your rehabilitation stays there. And at the program, the residents are going to hear the full, long story. We're going to give them a tidbit today. We're going to start with you, Dot.
Okay.
Now, the holidays are a little bit difficult, and when you're told you're going to be in rehab, and by the way, you're going to be in the Pavilion, that could be a little disheartening, but you had the opposite experience?
I did. I never thought being anywhere but home on a holiday would be wonderful, but I felt like a queen.
Yes.
I was having a hip replacement, and I wanted to take as much advantage of the rehab that I would get in the Pavilion. So I decided that I would take full advantage of the 3.5 weeks that I was able to be in the Pavilion. And I went in for surgery, had 5 days in the hospital, and then moved to the Pavilion and had wonderful, wonderful care. It was wonderful to be able to just take a nap whenever I wanted to, not have to cook my own meals. And it really was wonderful. And the care was so special that I just really felt that I would be happy to tell other people the way I feel about it.
Now, Bobbi, Pavilion Spa?
Yes,
How does that work?
I know that sounds totally crazy, but you have to understand, when you live alone, and I moved to Shell Point all by myself, and I live alone, and I don't have anybody to watch over me and take care of me, so when I had the need to be in the Pavilion, I welcomed it because I decided in my mind that I would be going on a spa vacation. And the spa had to do with everything. It had to do with the wonderful meals that I was served. I just sat there and made my menu out, picked out all the things I wanted to eat. The rehab center that I spent a great deal of time in, I treated that like my personal gym, and it was my personal trainers.
Right.
So my spa vacation included a lot of working out in the gym. And I just loved the care that I got. Everybody was so concerned and so welcoming, and I just treated it just like I was on a vacation. And I know it's a lot of hard work when you're in rehab, but if you think about it in your head differently, then the work is fun.
Yes.
And you make it fun. And so I just one of these people that I decided I was going on a vacation at the Pavilion. So now I call it the Larson Spa.
Oh, I like that. Well, Emily, you've had a unique experience. Can you give us a tad bit sneak peek of your unique experience?
You bet. My most recent was a hip repair on my other side, and that is what brought me into the Pavilion for rehab.
Right.
And I also, as Bobbi said, got wonderful care, and it is a healing environment. I came right from the hospital to Shell Point, and I just felt beautifully taken care of. And the one thing that really impressed me was the therapists came right to you and they talked to you about your individual needs. And then each day they came and they brought you to the rehab facility.
Well, ladies, I am so thankful that we had this conversation during our advisory board meeting, because it is a life quest story, but we're telling it through the Health Connection. And I think everyone should come to hear the full story, because you're just getting a little taste of the experience that you've had. And then we'll throw in Sherry Brown in the mix to answer any of those unknown questions about insurance. What happens when I'm there? And all of those difficult questions. It will be a panel of these ladies and Sherry talking, and then a lot of time for questions and answers. So if you would like to sign up for this program, please do so at either service desk. As a reminder, it's on Friday, May 2nd at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. I'm Mary Franklin with some inspiring ladies here with the Health Connection. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Coming up, we are covering all of Tuesday's happenings. Then stay tuned for your Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hi, Shell Point. Today is Tuesday, April 29th. We're here with the Happening segment. I'm fortunate enough to be here. I'm Melody Desolé. I'm in charge of volunteers, and this is Leslie Brand. She's a program coordinator here. So let's get started for the day's activities for Tuesday. We begin early in the morning at 7:15 with a Health Connections Bend, Breathe, and Balance class being held in the Health Club. Now at 8 o'clock, there's two different options for you. Pickleball being played on the island, or round-robin tennis being played at the Woodlands. At 8:15 to 11:30, the Stamp Ministry is open for volunteers to come down. That's located in the tunnel, and you can set your own hours. At 8:30, Ladies Golf Association is meeting at the Shell Point Golf Course. At 9 o'clock, we have bocce being played on the bocce court at the Woodlands. Now at 9:15, there's a few different options. Open painting in the art studio in the tunnel on the island, and shuffleboard also on the island. At 9:30, we have match play mixed doubles tennis being played at the Woodlands. Now head over to the Osprey Room at 10:15 for the Through the Bible study group. At 11 o'clock, the Susie Q Rum Runners trip takes off and sign up is required. And at 11:45, we have a Health Connection Living Healthy class being held in the Osprey Room in the Resident Activity Center. Leslie, what do we have for the afternoon?
All right, thank you, Melody. We have, starting at 12:30, the Mixed Progressive Bridge in the game room of the Woodlands. We have a couple options for 1:15. We have the Knitters group in the Osprey Room. At 1:15, we have the Rollicking Recorderess in the Tarpon Room. And lastly, at 1:15 is the Women's Ministries Prayer in the Hospitality Room of the Village Church. There is a Health Connections at 1:30, Aqua Pilates Stretch in the Life Quest Aquatic Center. At 1:30, we have Stamp Ministry in the Sable Room of the Woodlands. And then we have a Health Connections Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club on the island. That class is currently full, and it's at 2:45. At 7:15 is the Route 66 Variety Show. It is at the Village Church on the island. So Melody, what exactly is a variety show?
Well, I don't want to give too much information away, but I think it's a show with a lot of variety.
You are exactly right. That is what is happening here at Shell Point. It's a show with employees and resident acts coming together to make one fabulous performance. You'll see talent and musical ability that you've never even seen before. Agreed?
Agreed. So get your kicks on Route 66.
Menus for Tuesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is breaded perch with roasted red potatoes and braised green cabbage. The dinner special is the Build Your Own Stir Fry Bar for $12.95, and the soup of the day is corn chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Tuesday, the special is a ham and Swiss panini with fresh fruit for $7.25. The dinner special is grilled chicken Alfredo with garlic bread and a side salad for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are shrimp pomodoro for $13.95 or sirloin steak for $16.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with Glenda Stephenson, who's our church administrator, and we're here to talk about the renovation project that is getting ready to unfold in the Village Church auditorium. And we're very excited about the prospects of all the things that are going to be done, but we wanted to take a few moments today to sort of bring people up to date on the kinds of activities that are going to be taking place to really give a lift to this facility, which is not only used by the Village Church, but in fact is shared facilities for many Shell Point activities. Right. So tell us, this just the end of this week. We're going to really be diving into the renovation project significantly. Tell us about some of the things that we're actually going to do in the sanctuary.
Beginning May 1, which is what we've been projecting all along, and praise the Lord, we got our permitting through so that we are right on target. Beginning May 1, we are going to spend a couple days just packing things up. Some of the things that we really need to pay attention to include things like wrapping our instruments. All of our technical equipment has to be wrapped to protect it from dust, and we have to pack up some things under the stage, library, just various places around the church. So that will be taking place May 1 and 2, and that will all be the preparation for the actual demolition, which begins May 5th.
Okay. And what are they going to demolish?
They're going to start in the hospitality room in the chapel, taking down the ceiling and getting it ready for the electrical work that has to be done there. As soon as they get that done, the electricians can move into those spaces and they will begin to tear out the ceiling in the sanctuary auditorium part of the building. At the same time, they will begin to tear up carpet so that they can do all the messiest part of the demo within a short window of time, and we can get that cleaned up and taken care of.
Now, if somebody just walked into the auditorium and looked at the ceilings, they might not see a major need for renovation, but that's all associated with the electrical upgrade, isn't it? We have the same electrical, basically, facility that we had 40 years ago.
Right.
And so tell us a little bit about the things that we're going to do to the electrical, which would change what we have to do to the ceilings and that kind of thing.
We are adding lighting for one thing and making the change over to LED lighting.
Okay.
We are also doing some work with zoning and connecting everything so that we can manage it through our electronic tech booth, which means we'll be able to dim lights, we'll be able to do zone control, and just have a lot more control and flexibility than we currently have. I think once we get back into that space, people will be amazed at the amount of light.
Right.
But we will be able to dim it and control it as needed.
So the amount of light, the control of light, the LEDs not only provide more light, but they also provide a more cost-effective light, more environmentally sound. So there's an environmental component to this as well. And I think it's important to recognize that while a lot of the renovation is cosmetic in the sense that we're dealing with carpet and paint and some of those kinds of things, the lighting is a critically functional part of this whole renovation project. And accounts for probably at least 25% of the whole budget, doesn't it?
That's true, and we're really grateful that we can at least upgrade that part of the facility. We will enjoy the cosmetic overhaul very much, but the lighting is going to just facilitate what happens in that space.
That's right. That's right. Well, in addition to the lighting, then we have other things that are going to take place. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, once they get the electrical work done, the lighting, the ceiling put back, then we'll be working on painting. We'll be recarpeting. We've got a new stage floor to put down, a new back wall for the stage. The men in the wood shop are already working on refurbishing some of our altar furniture and our kneelers and some things like that, and they're doing a beautiful job of it.
I understand they're excited, they're really psyched about this, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And we'll be doing some trim work around the auditorium and new chairs, of course, will be part of that process. Eventually, we'll get to the kitchen. That will get redone, and our ladies are very excited about that. Eventually, we'll do the office spaces upstairs, and so right now the offices will still be functioning. People will be able to access that, although they won't be able to get into the main auditorium part of the building. But eventually, we'll do the office space where that will get painted, carpeted, some new lighting installed up there as well, so that when we are done, from the front doors to the back doors, our space will have been totally made over and be fresh.
Well, we're really excited about that.
We are.
Now, tell us a little bit about where we are in the fundraising part of this. We had this campaign called Refresh and Renew, and we were seeking to raise about $1 million to cover these things. And people might wonder about $1 million, but remember, the lighting and electrical is a huge part of this, and it's a big space. But where are we with that, with respect to that fundraising?
Well, I'm so excited about it. Our goal has been $1 million, and it seemed like a lot of money when we started. But as of this moment right now, we are almost at $970,000.
Wow, that's wonderful.
So we are very excited. We feel like God has blessed us. Our people have been generous, and we're so grateful. And we know that we are very, very close to having this fully subscribed.
That's terrific. So starting May 1, we're digging in and getting this thing started. And that means for the foreseeable future, we'll be worshiping in another location. We've talked about that in other programs. And obviously that requires some adjustments and some patience on the part of our people. But it'll be exciting in the long run to see what will happen as a result of the refreshment that we'll have in the Village Church.
We've talked about viewing this as an opportunity, and I think if we can do that, be flexible with what's going on this summer, God will bless us.
That's terrific. Well, we're looking forward to it, I think, even though there are going to be some obvious adjustments that we'll all need to make, especially those of us who work in the building, but we hope that you'll keep us in prayer, and we'll be also very excited about the prospects for refreshing this facility here at Shell Point, the Village Church Auditorium. Blessings to all of you, and we hope to see you soon wherever we happen to be worshiping, whether it's in the Grand Cypress Room in the Woodlands in the next few months, or whether it's in the Social Center on Sunday evenings. We hope to see you. God bless you.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Bev Chanley introduces you to the gentle exercise of Tai Chi Cha. We'll also visit the Shell Point Orchid Greenhouse, where you can learn what it takes to bring these beautiful blooms to life. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Tuesday, April 29th. I'm Kara Minowie. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.